words, Mr. Speaker, is beyond redemption as a statesman who ought to help glue. You can reason through this with me. The NDC's real intention in this partnership with Mr. Speaker to usurp the majority position in Parliament is not for them to exercise any majority rights. It's not for them to play any majority role to move government business in a positive direction. It is simply to gain the advantage to now, as a stolen majority in Parliament, to completely grind government business for halt. Because they have tried to leverage the mere, numbers in Parliament, and that has not worked. They have tried to disrupt, and that has not worked. But in these last days, they have come to a point where they say, by hook or crook, they will ensure that Parliament does not happen. And so, the Speaker's adjournment of Parliament Sunny Day is not by accident, it's by design. What is happening in Parliament at this stage is a desperate push by the NDC, having realized that its evil plot is failing and the NDC is more likely to lose the 2024 election. This is what this is about in Parliament. Nothing is working. The only thing I believe that should work for any political party is that you go out there with your plans and programs and convince Ghanaians to vote for you. Because what we are looking for as citizens is for our country to do well and for us to do well. And the NDC is not interested in that. Their interest is for the economy not to do well. And so you would go out there and blame the New Patriotic Party for it. And when you're out there blaming the New Patriotic Party for it,
Mr. Ahiagba further cautioned Speaker Alban Gbagbin to be cautious in his dealings to avoid further altercations in the House.
Design cooperation, participation of Mr. Speaker in a sinister plan to aid the NDC minority usurp their position in Parliament. In other words, you usurp the position of majority in Parliament with the active participation of Mr. Speaker. This is a new law in this Fourth Republic for any speaker. This is news, and this is something that we all need to watch very closely and condemn. As a friend of mine would say, Mr. Speaker has crossed the be careful line. In other words, Mr. Speaker is beyond redemption as a statesman who ought to help glue Parliament together and see to government business to further the loss of Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker is irredeemable. Even after the Supreme Court has spoken to stay his actions, the machinations that they put up, all the orchestrations they are putting up, is designed to ensure that no government business is done. They tried that from 2021, they've been doing it, it hasn't worked. But in these last days, they have purpose to do whatever they can, including...
The New Patriotic Party NPP caucus in Parliament has requested the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Gbagbin, to summon Parliament to consider urgent government business. They said the consideration, constitutional and statutory provisions of Article 1123 of the Constitution and the Standing Order 58. The Speaker must summon the House to a meeting within a 7-day period. That's, they believed, would enable the government to discharge its constitutional and democratic obligations to the people of Ghana. The petition has so far garnered about 80 signatories who are all members of the New Patriotic Party caucus. Article 1123 of the Constitution states, notwithstanding any other provision of this article, 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and Speaker shall, within 7 days after the receipt of the request, summon Parliament. Also, Standing Order 53 Clause 1 reiterates, despite any other provisions, 15% of the members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall, within 7 days after the request, summon Parliament. In addition, Standing Order 53 Clause 2 further stipulates Parliament shall convene within 7 days after the issuance of notice of summons. The petition, which was issued yesterday, October 22, and addressed to the Speaker, the Second Deputy Majority Chief Whip of the NPP caucus, Habib Idrisu, said, considering the constitutional and statutory provisions cited above, and in the exercise of our rights as members of Parliament, we respectfully urge you to summon Parliament for a meeting within the stipulated 7-day period. Three members of Parliament MPs from the National Democratic Congress NDC have introduced a private members bill aimed at repealing Section 3(2) of the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves Regulations 2022, that's LI 2462, which grants the President authority to issue mining leases for exploration within forest reserves in Ghana. The Tamale North MP Alhassan Suhini, MP for Medina Francis Xavier Susu, and North Tong MP Samuel Okujoto Oblakwa submitted the bill in a formal memo to the Clerk of Parliament on Tuesday, October 22. The MPs urged that as lawmakers, they bear a greater responsibility to ensure the right of Ghanaians to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. As part of the New Patriotics Party, flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign tour to the Volta region, he has commissioned a multi-million ultra-modern municipal assembly complex at Ho Central. Chiefs, Queen Mothers, NPP executive and supporters were in attendance. Dr. Bawumia, addressing the gathering, congratulated the municipal chief executive, who doubles as the NPP parliamentary candidate, Bosun Divine, for his immense contribution towards the development of Ho Central Municipality. He also appealed to the constituent to vote for him as the next president and Mr. Divine on December 7 for developmental projects.
Context. Today I am here to make a case for why you should elect me to be President of the Republic of Ghana. I have been in office for the last 8 years. My whole philosophy of development and governance is one of broad-based development, inclusive development. I believe that as a country, we have to make sure that no region is left behind, no district is left behind.
A new report by Imani Ghana has described the Ministry of Finance as the most physically reckless ministry among all government entities from 2015 to 2023. The research, based on Imani's Fiscal Recklessness Index, highlighted the ministry's role in repeated budget overruns, excessive borrowing, and mismanagement of public funds, which have significantly contributed in Ghana's economic instability. Senior Research Associate of Imani, Dennis Asari, disclosed that per their findings, the Ministry of Finance is the most physically reckless ministry from 2015 to 2023. These lapses, according to the report, have worsened the country's rising debt levels, raising concerns about the ministry's ability to effectively manage the nation's finances. Derek Kumikisiedu has more in this report.
and Education, with the support of Oxfam Ghana, has assessed the fiscal recklessness of MDAs using its Fiscal Recklessness Index (FRI) to advocate for fiscal prudence and accountability in the use of public funds. The third edition of the FRI examines fiscal irregularities by MDAs between 2021 and 2023. Ghana is yet to achieve a stable and predictable macroeconomic environment despite the fiscal consolidation interventions implemented under the 17th IMF program, supported by a new public financial management strategy. The threat of poverty remains high, and the business environment is far from being conducive for the private sector. Fully restoring macroeconomic stability requires effective and accountable public financial management system. However, the Auditors General's reports continue to show persistent weakness in internal control and oversight institutions. The Ministry of Finance tops the list of MDAs as the most fiscally reckless institution between 2021 and 2023. The Ministry of Finance recorded an FRI score of 0.9038, which translates to about 90% of financial infractions traced to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance is followed by the Ministry of Communications, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture as the top 5 fiscally reckless institutions for the period of assessment. A senior research associate at Imani Center for Policy and Education, Dennis Asari, says Ghana's current economic crisis is as a result of fiscal recklessness and not COVID-19 or Russian-Ukraine war. According to the think tank's Fiscal Recklessness Index, Ghana lost 4.9 billion Ghana cedis to financial irregularities between 2021 to 2023. The report calls for urgent reforms and stricter fiscal policies to restore financial prudence within the ministry and other MDAs to ensure sustainable economic growth.
Macroeconomic challenges cannot be blamed on COVID and Ukraine, but they are deep-seated recklessness in the management of public finances, lack of real commitment to reforms. So we don't really commit to reforms. We do short-term reforms, we overlook it, then we go back to factory reset, and you're able to see evidently that after 5 public financial management reforms, all the problems that started in 1997 up to 2020, the last time we did a public financial management reform, all the problems still persist. In the new public financial management reform program,
more than $1.6 million worth of essential family planning commodities and other medical products donated by the West African Health Organization, WAHO, and the United Nations Fund for Populations Activities have been stacked at the Tema port since February of this year. A coalition of 55 civil society organizations is demanding urgent government intervention. The CSOs further noted that Ghana recently launched the Ghana Family Planning Costed Implementations Plan, reaffirming the government's commitment to ensuring that by 2030, all persons of productive age have equitably and timely access to quality FM information, commodities and services in line with global, that is the 2030 goals. However, delays in clearing essential FP commodities leading to stockout cast doubt on this pledge, the African Union Agenda 2063 and the larger Sustainable Development Goals. And that's all for ABC Headlines. My name is Eric Trinibua Mello. ABC in the Morning continues shortly. Do stay with us.